pod talk or anything like that, but we are pretty much all tech today. We've got a lot of interesting things because I know everybody likes to hear about the
There's a
newest
lot
stuff.
that's
We know
been
that.
happened.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's
there's
been
a
busy.
lot of cool and interesting things. So the first thing I think that we're going to go ahead and chat about is going to be, of course, the Apple Vision Pro, the AVP, because that is a huge
Of
thing that
course.
people are absolutely crazy about. And the thing that we it's kind of amazing because you hear two things. You hear people talking about how there's nothing for this, for this AVP that's coming out now. And then you finally
Hmm.
hear that they're going to be coming out with like 600 spatial apps for the AVP, which is
Wow.
interesting. That's kind of their buzzword, spatial,
It is.
spatial this, spatial that,
Right.
spatial
They refuse to
games.
say VR or AR, it's spatial everything.
It's
Yeah.
spatial everything. And what I love about it is with the advertising, they say change how you experience things or spark our imaginations with new ways to learn and explore. Unlock production like never before. I mean, they use these incredible, massive, you expect there's some massive movie behind the counter or something like this. And the nice thing about it is you could do good things with this, right? You can watch a 100-foot screen. You can watch something that has more pixels than a 4K TV. I mean, listen, that stuff is pretty awesome, right? I'm not going to deny it. They're coming up with so many different specific apps like regard to NBA and
Oh yeah.
MLB, all that kind of
Hmm.
stuff. And if you have subscriptions to a lot of these apps, like for I think it was to the NBA, you can stream up to like 5 games at one time. You can
Hmm.
have real time stats.
Oh, nice.
There's really a lot of stuff. Yeah, especially when it comes to a lot of are a lot of you guys out there jump up and down. Are a lot of you guys into the sports? With the baseball and the basketball, any of that stuff. A lot of those, yeah.
Not
Okay.
me.
Okay. So that would be definitely of interest to you. Now, let me ask you guys, how many of you then are into things like the IMAX and the Dolby Atmos and the home environments, all that kind of cool stuff? Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh
Oh,
yeah.
there we
Yes.
Oh
go.
yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
So here's the thing. The question about it is what you would spend this $3,500. And remember, that's what is they're touting this as. But there's all the additional expenses. I mean, if you need to have lenses for your vision, if you need to, you want the warranty, you want the all the different stuff that goes with it. It ends up coming up to a pretty penny. But the one thing that really that I really thought was interesting. I mean, it's the environment. You know how with our Quest we have all the different little home environments, right?
Hmm.
So
Yes.
what I love about this is with the AVP, they made a new one for anyone who is a fan of the Game of Thrones. So, and I put this down the way they
Oh.
wrote this. I had to completely put this down as it was written, because these people who are coming up with this stuff, the marketing folks, it's like the decision to like spend $3,500 on something based on how they describe this. Now, they did say that, of course, there is a home environment of Tatooine from Star Wars.
Oh, that's cool. Oh no. And she left her glasses.
No, no.
Oh no.
Back
Technical
up.
difficulties. Do we have technical difficulty music?
Or maybe she was just hopping onto her Apple Vision
Uh,
Pro.
yeah.
We might.
She's
The
on
Empire
Tatooine.
got her when she's the Empire came for her when she said Tatooine.
I think so. I think it was the
May the force
DNCA
be with
just
her.
coming down on her. Yeah. Okay. There she is.
There she is. All right.
The Apple sent the God police. They're like, get rid of her now before she spills her secrets.
I know.
Damn her.
There you go.
Um, but one of the things they put was about these home environments, and there's one for Tatooine. You can sit in a land speeder and you can watch stuff. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I would love that.
That's cool.
Okay,
That's cool.
I mean that's worth
Yeah, yeah.
$3,500 worth of lint in my pocket, right? Okay. But for those of you that are into the Game of Thrones, I love the way they wrote this. They said the intricate Targaryen era adornments will make you feel like you're watching the programming available on Max in Westeros during the height of their reign. So
Wow.
I'm sorry, that's incredible, right? That's amazing. I got to give it to the marketing people because they really do put up this beautiful picture. But my question to you is, for you guys that are all intrigued with all of this stuff, and I know Johnny, you like your sports too. Um, Again, it's the question we're always asking. $35 base for this stuff. Is any of this kind of stuff worth $35? $35. Sorry, $3,500.
$35? Yes, 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 yes,
$35.
yes.
I'll do it.
I'll
I'll buy
take
that
it.
for $1.
I'll take it right
You
now.
know,
Yes.
Mine.
I'll take it.
Mine.
And then also we have a little perspective I'm going to give you guys here a little bit later that Johnny has to add today too to this because he did actually get to go and try this out today. So,
Oh
Faye, let
man.
me ask you how you feel about this information. I mean, is there any of this? Are you so into any of these things that they're offering that it's looking like a good price tag for you?
Okay. I am going to go try it on Thursday. I have an appointment. I'm going to go try it. But that is just to experience it. I mean, I experienced the HoloLens and I experienced um the the one of the rifts, not not the CB one, but
Go.
the one right after it. What was it?
To go.
Sorry? No, it
Go.
wasn't the Go. It was the other one, but that's okay. And I've experienced demos, but it doesn't mean I have to buy it. The cost
Mhm.
is just too much, I think, for me right now. I want to do
Mhm.
maybe the next version, when
Mhm.
it's more a consumer price, but
When
yeah,
things are worked out.
it's a little bit too high for me. Yeah, unfortunately.
Mhm. Mhm. Now, Johnny,
Johnny,
what
what
about
about you?
you? What? Well, actually, Johnny, why don't you
Uh,
talk about? Actually, we'll do this now. Why don't you talk about what you experienced today?
okay, so I'm gonna skip ahead here, and this is a picture I took
Oh.
today at the Apple Store
Oh, sweet.
here in my town, and it wasn't so much like, look, okay, I'll get into the headset now, but I had to set this up, and it was quite a scenario to get in there. And when I walked into the mall, this is what I saw. Like, it looked like there was a new iPhone launching. Like, there was people interested, and never in my life had I ever seen this many people with a VR headset on. And it was
Wow.
kind of really cool to see. And then I've been
Hmm,
looking at Reddit and stuff, and people are wearing these out and about, and I
they
think it's
are.
going to be socially normal to have these on, and I love that because I don't have to be this
Me too.
weirdo with the headset.
Wow.
Now I'm just the one with the poor people
Wow.
headset, which I don't care. But you know what, it's fine. But here's the thing. So I set up this appointment, I went in and I had to wait. I went a little bit early, right? And everybody was just digging it, and it was just
Hmm,
insane. Like, I've never seen, and it's just like I always say, right? It's people of all ages. We have older people, younger people, senior citizens, middle-aged people, younger people. Just out of everybody's trying it, and
so cool.
the things that I heard them say, it was basically people that I've only heard a handful of people that had an experience with VR before this. And I think what it is that they're taking the time to show people how to use it. And of course, when I sat down, I'm like, okay, like I know how to use it, second nature, right? But that's the thing that was never explained to people with all these other headsets. It's, hey, this is really cool. Watch a YouTube video, go to the store, pick it up, unpack it. And I heard somebody say, oh, yeah, I tried the MetaQuest 3 and it was uncomfortable. It kept moving around. Nobody told them, hey, there's other straps you could buy. Here's how to adjust it.
Mm,
And here's what Apple's doing right. They're taking people and they're saying, hey, we're going to start. It's a 30-minute demo. You sit down. They ask you any eye, prescriptions or anything like that. They ask you a few questions. You do the face scan and everything, and then you go in, and you're loaded into, like, the first thing I noticed when I put it on was that the pass through was pretty good. It was a little bit better than the Quest 3, and I noticed that I could read the phone pretty well. So it's just like what all the reviewers are saying. The pass through is really good. When I move my head like side to side like this, I did notice a little bit of jelloing, but the pass through was really good. Keep in mind it's a very bright situation, so I didn't get to test it out in low light. But the thing that struck me was the not no screen door whatsoever, super sharp, and then the blacks, the OLED screen. My lord, when the Apple logo came on, there was no glare whatsoever on the little white little
oh,
Apple with the black screen. It was
nice.
clearly the best visual I've ever seen in a headset. I only have to reference the Quest 3. I'm sure some people with the VRO and all those other ones, like, it's probably right on par with that. But everything just worked, and it was very intuitive to people who had not used VR before. and everyone was just eating it up. They're like, it's like Psycho said, it was like a home screen. Like, wow, this home screen's amazing. I went to I think Portland, and it was raining, and the water was moving. The home screen was really nice. It's a really good, but all I really got to do was to watch a couple movies in 3D. I looked at a few pictures. They showed me the picture quality of taking video and photos from the actual Apple Vision Pro. It was
Cool.
okay, but the picture and the video taken from the iPhone Apple 15 Pro Max. I think I said that right. Whatever, the one that does the stereoscopic, that
Uh-huh.
one was clearly better, and
Ooh.
it was a really good experience. The way I consume VR, AR, XR, MR, whatever, I really like what I have now. Like, I like being able to have an emulator where I could play PlayStation games and hang out with somebody and banter and do a bunch of other stuff. Like, I'm a tinkerer. And the two things I walked away from was, number one, this is exactly like a PC and a Mac. Like, what do you want to do with your computer? Are you a tinkerer? Do you have different programs? Do you get into GitHub? Or do you just want to use the thing and it works? And I think a lot of people who want to just use a computer and work, this is probably going to be a really good situation for them. And if you're in here and you have body tracking and you do PCVR, eh, it's going to be tough. But there's no mistaking that feeling you get when you walk into an Apple store and everyone has VR headsets, and you've been into VR since like 2018, 2019. It was truly
That's
magical to
gotta
see
be
people
cool.
like a bunch of people experiencing it, and it was
That's
great.
awesome.
I know the guy was annoyed with me because I was asking all these like extra questions, and
Hmm.
I guess I'll jump into the negatives, right? No
Hmm.
customizability. I didn't get to play a game, and the FOV was kind of like meh. But everything else
Hmm.
was wow. Like, and I'll explain it like this. To explain to my friend, I said, look, if I'm gonna go watch a movie by myself, and it's something that's on the Apple Vision Pro, and I had it, and I'm a bajillionaire, and I have one, I'm watching it on that. Anything else, like if I want to watch it with people or interact, I'm going back to my Quest 3. What it did do is get me excited for the future of what is coming, because now everyone
Hmm.
else has to put up or shut up. Meta's got to start putting things
Yep.
in, right? Samsung's gonna start like this
Competition.
is gonna things have changed, and as much as I wanted to resist that idea of, yeah, once Apple comes in things are going to change, I'm like, no, we have fancy headsets and great social apps and PCVR and motion trackers and whatnot and bobos and whatever, right? Now I'm like, well, you know what, there's no mistaking it. Like, this is a change forward, and it's gonna spark a lot of new technology, apps, and experiences. So it was really exciting,
Definitely.
and I, I can't wait to hear what you think of it, Faye. But yeah, the
Hmm.
screen, it's a great screen with it's a walled garden, but damn, is it a pretty one. So that's
Hmm.
kind of all I got to say about that.
Hmm.
That's pretty awesome.
But is
I
that a
can't wait to
walled
try it out.
garden that, $3,500 for that? I mean, let's say you're alone watching a movie or something. That's awesome. Of course it is. But is someone going to be alone that much watching enough of them by themselves to where, yeah, I can justify that, versus something else? Are you feeling that that's really a
Well,
justifiable price for everything? Or is it just not there
I
yet?
would say, I would say, if I think a lot of people, there was that stigma. Everybody knows about it. The stigma of VR is kind of corny, whatever. It's a big nerd helmet. People,
Mm.
everyone was like, oh my gosh, it looks cool. Like, everybody was just amazed. So I don't think it's worth it for everyone. Like, for me, there's too much. I'm gonna get upset if I can't do a Oculus call with somebody, or go into Population One, or go into Banter, or go into anything else that I do with my headset. Like, I sideloaded my cameras for my house into my headset, so I can just go look at the cameras
Whoa.
to see if someone's at the door. You can't do that.
That's
I mean,
cool.
I'm sure you can get an app for the Apple Vision Pro, but I'm a tinkerer. Like, I 3D print my my interfaces and my head straps. Like, I know you could do that with the Apple Vision Pro. It's not there yet, but as a tinkerer, and it's funny because if you look at my TV, I use the Apple TV, I have a
Mhm.
Apple, an iPhone, and I have a tablet. Everything like,
Mhm.
and I don't game on any one of those devices. And
Yeah.
I'm a gamer, social app. I
Right.
game on everything else, but it's just like my phone. I want it to work, and I don't tinker with it, and I don't emulate games on it or do anything crazy with it. But I have a little handheld emulation device, like a gaming system. But I don't know. I don't think it's something that for everybody. For early adopters, yes, but I saw something about they're going to come out with the Apple Vision Air now, and that's going to be just under a G. So I think
Mhm.
that might be somebody to get everything. But the thing
Okay.
that I'm
Mm.
excited about
I could do
is
that.
just that it's cool now, right? Like it's going to be socially
Right.
acceptable to have one of these on. I'm not just going to be like, hey, is this guy going to blow something up with this headset and this Flipper Zero and all this other stuff? Like he's got all these technologies on him. Like somebody should check this guy out. Now it's like, oh, he's just some guy in a VR, like whatever.
It depends on the
So
battery,
I
of
like
course.
that. That's true.
Yeah, and it does
About
have
the
the external
explosions.
battery. That's the one thing people are upset about is that in all the advertising they are showing it, but they're generally trying to hide the fact that it does have an external battery. You get 2 hours out of the AVP, they've said, and that's the only difference. A cord, and a battery. And a lot of people are upset about that. I mean, I'm a little shocked to be honest. I mean, with everything that it is, I would imagine that something a little bit more than that, more than a 2-hour external battery. I get it. The weight they've got to deal with not keeping that in the headset, but it just seemed like there should be something a little more in terms of the
They-
time.
They're
Um,
Mhm.
doubling down on the lidar and they're doubling down on the fidelity of the screen. That's the most expensive because the lidar is very high def, and the
mhm.
screen the way I like to explain it is, when HD, now I'm giving away my age here, when HD first came out, there was only like 5 channels, but damn, they were good. That's where we're
Mhm.
at here, and I think they're going to catch up with the screens. Once Samsung gets into this and starts making their own headsets,
Oh yeah,
the bar
which
has
they
been
are.
set.
Mhm.
Yes.
And it's exciting. Like this is it. Like this is
Mhm.
that singularity that's going to push VR, AR, MR, XR, spatial computer, whatever. This is what's going to push it forward. And it's just exciting to. I really would say anybody who has an Apple store, buy it. Go check it out. Whether you're an Apple, Android, whatever, go see it. And if you don't want to spend the money on that, or you can't, like me, like at least go check it out and see what the fuss is about. You won't be disappointed. The
Mhm.
process was really good. They had trouble sizing me, and they didn't have trouble trying to close me, but I'm like, listen,
Mhm.
I don't want to. It
Yeah.
ended up being like with the Apple Care and everything, I went with the 512. It ended up he tried to throw me an extra battery. I'm like, listen, I got batteries hanging out, whatever over here. I got all kinds of Belkin and Basis batteries, so I don't need the battery. But anyway, it ended up being like 4,100 with the Apple Care, and the
Ooh.
monthlies I think were like almost $400, and I was like, yeah, like.
Oh.
Like
Wow.
I'll put it to you this way: it got me so excited about VR, but it didn't get me excited enough to be like, "Yeah, I'm gonna move some money and buy this now." But it was really cool. I don't
Yeah.
regret it, and I hate going anywhere. Like I had to go out, in the sun and brave the ball, try and find parking. But you know what? It was such a cool experience, and it it's definitely the magic. Like yes, VR has been around for so long, but just seeing a store packed full of people who can't wait to try this technology was just so, I don't know, it was cool. Like we've all been a part of this VR for some time, but I think we're really going to see some activity here. So whether you like it, whether you don't, it is an important stepping stone to what's next. And if anyone has questions, I'll stick around and answer them. No, it was not that comfortable. I used the strap like they show in the picture here. It was the mono, the one strap. It was comfortable for like the first 5 minutes, but towards the end I was like, yeah, I need some weight up top in my head. But I got a
Mm.
3D printer, so I'm sure I could figure something out. And I've already seen some stuff on Reddit where people are putting their bobos and deluxe audio straps, and people are figuring it
Nice.
out. So
Cool.
Mhm. I
That's
do have to
awesome.
say that I think the race is on, which I agree with. What I love about it is seeing that everybody's getting into it. I mean, granted the price point's up there. I mean, but unless you're gonna, going to need a audio, you're not going to be getting one unless you're going to need the AVP necessarily. But it does start to get into the area of you don't necessarily need it, but you could. But then we're going to be talking on some other things too here. I mean, Sony's going to be coming out with a new one. Samsung is going to be getting into the race again. So there's going to be a lot out there. It's really starting. It's almost like you're at the races and the horses are just starting to come out the gate. You know, there's so many of them. Faye, what's your thought?
Mm.
Wow. No, I'm excited for the future. Like Johnny was saying, this sets a precedence. This shows what can be done, and now all of the other companies can jump into the ring, and they already are, and they're creating their versions of this that are going to be more affordable, and the features war is going to begin. You know, this company's going to have this feature first. This one's going to have this feature first. Eventually, this one's going to combine these two, and we're just going to be better off for it in the virtual
Mm-hmm.
reality realm. We're going to have
Mm-hmm.
such options. I'm looking forward
Mm-hmm.
to the future. I really am. And I want that form factor to get smaller and smaller and thinner until we have contact lenses.
I know. So there's
Yes.
contact lenses. I do, and when
Yep.
you after you do your thing next week, I'd love to hear. The week next week on our
Yeah.
show, Johnny will not be here with us. He has a work thing he has to go to, but Faye and I will be here, which I can't wait to hear what your
So
thoughts are going to be on that as
Yeah.
well.
someone is taking one of my kidneys so I can finance
Again,
one of these fine
you know what,
devices
Johnny?
here.
It's kind of
Yes, but
odd. This is exactly what you say after every bad date, and I really don't understand why you keep going through this. All right. All right. Does anyone in our fabulous audience jump up and down if you have some thoughts on any of the stuff here that we've been going on about? Ark? Yeah, what do you think
Oh, we
about
got
Ark?
all
What are you
right.
thinking?
So, I mean, a lot of what Johnny said, hit on some of the things that just I kind of have a personal frustration for as far as like what the potential of Apple could be if they wanted to, and this just isn't in their business model. Because, I mean, I get that they're trying to create a different dynamic in the XR world as far as like coming at it to much more of a practical utility perspective. And don't get me wrong, that is great. And I mean, I think we all understand why it's good that they're coming at it from a completely different vantage point. They call it spatial computing, and I get the semantics. But I mean, there's a
Mhm.
philosophical value for that because when you come at things from a different way, you provide different solutions for different problems. Sure, I get that. The part that has me frustrated though is like a couple weeks ago when I got a chance to ask Shane about, the idea of having, more evolved headsets that are smaller and more advanced. And he was talking about
right.
like, well, there's a limit to yeah, there's a limit because of Moore's law and all that stuff. But he said maybe, we could offload things, to other devices, which then would free up more space on headsets. Apple has, for consider three different, things and put a pin in each one of them for a second. I'll try to be quick. I'm sorry. But
Sure.
No, go
um,
for it.
there's the concept of, cloud gaming computing. Like my cousin, he's signed up for NVIDIA's their cloud system, and like he doesn't experience any latency with it. He gets the equivalent of a 4090 on a cloud experience. Okay, keep that in mind.
Mm-hmm.
Keep in
Okay.
mind what Shane was talking about. Offloading functionality of a headset into something else, so you can have greater utility because of that. But also think also in the context, Apple has say whatever else you want about Apple, but I mean even the harshest critics acknowledge that the integration between their different devices on their platform is as close to seamless as you're ever probably going to get. I mean, just like
Mm-hmm.
your iPad
Right.
to your iPhone, and in this case, like the Apple Vision Pro or your MacBook, they just so
Mm-hmm.
seamlessly work. I mean, it's like without pain. Now aggregate
Yep.
those 3 points together. Apple hypothetically could design a gaming hub that has like really high end GPU capacity and worked also as both a local area, a personal area network, not like a like your local area network, your Wi-Fi, but it's one that's expressly designed for gaming and aggregating all their devices where you could have your phones work to providing external camera tracking, so you can have full body tracking from a Y and X axis, like with your iPhone camera and your iPad camera. And because their ecosystem is so seamless, you could have this ultimate VR gaming experience. Apple really does have that power, and all these technologies exist now, multiple generations in. If they wanted to, they could just totally dominate the XR gaming, environment, but that's just not their business model. And I get that that's not the
Mm-hmm.
zeitgeist of society when they think of Apple either. I mean, they haven't done gaming since like for like 25 years. Like I remember when StarCraft Brood War
True.
Mm-hmm.
came out, like, it was compatible with those, but just it's just for me, it's like it's just I look at it too much from a gamer's perspective. Like, man, more than anyone else, they could aggregate this into such a
That power.
thing.
Yeah.
but they're not going to, because that's just not what they want to be.
Mhm.
And I get what you're saying, Faye. Like, maybe that's going to open the door for someone else to realize, hey, we can aggregate all this, but I don't think anyone has the potential to do it the way Apple could if they wanted to, and they're undoubtedly not going to. And just that kind of just frustrates me. This is still great, and I'm not saying this to trash it. I swear I'm not. But
Mhm.
it's like, man, it could, but it's not gonna, And I'll let you guys go with that.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
those are good points,
Mm-hmm.
and that's kind of something like I was very torn. Like, part of me was like, oh, like getting really frustrated. Like when I heard somebody say, "Oh yeah, the Quest 3," like it wasn't it. I'm like, do you realize you can do more with your Quest 3 than you can currently with this? But and that's the whole problem. It's like it's different levels of people's tech, I guess, comfortability. I don't know. Like they're at a different spectrum of using technology, and Apple's really good at they've really dumbed it down. Like as soon as I like got in, I started like moving things around, and the guy's like, "Hold on, Turbo, like you got to go through." It's a very structured demo, and I'm like, "But I understand. But I've been in VR since 2018. But I've had like 20 headsets. But I know like, but I DJ in VR. Like, but
It's
he's like,
on
whoa, 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 like
rails.
here, this is different." He's like, let's just stick with this, and he's like, okay, but and oh man, I've never been so torn on something. Like I've never been so upset because I'm like, oh, like why can't people realize there's so much more you can do? But they're trying to go after everybody. They're trying to put one
Mm.
of these on every single face in the world, and I think
Mhm.
that's why they're not really focusing too much on gaming. But I totally
Mhm.
agree with everything you said, Ark. Like I'm kind of frustrated at it, but excited at the same time because you're right. They don't have to. They could have they could have put so much more stuff, and but this is why I like it, because with one update, Zuckerberg can go, okay, you want screens on the wall, you want spatial computing, like they could push out one update and be up to date. Yeah, the screen isn't going to
Oh,
be
they will.
as nice, but
Mhm.
Mhm.
yes, it's not an OLED, but functionality and utilitarian. Like there's another thing that I don't like to talk about, but here's the thing, like I don't know, like I might think twice if I want to take a $4,000 investment with me. The Quest 3, the Quest 2, yeah, I'll throw it in a bag. Like I'll actually take it. I'm not afraid to use it. Like this
Oh
thing,
yeah.
I was like, oh no no no, I don't
Mm-hmm.
want to slam this down. Like I'm gonna
Protect
be
it.
careful, you know.
Right.
So,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
but
Well, it's interesting
it's
because
just interesting.
some of these things bring up some other topics we're going to be touching on in other things with regarding to with the travel and with different things that Meta is trying to do, because they are saying
Hmm.
too, and we'll touch on that Meta is actually looking at things that the AVP has and is actually trying to up some of their own game on that, which we can go into. But
Hmm.
does anyone else have any
Mhm.
other thoughts on this particular thing we're yep, Static? What about you?
I'm just thinking of all the legislation that's going to be rewritten from all these people having them and driving their cars, running in the street and
Mm-hmm.
getting hit by
Oh
Oh
cars, and
man.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's coming.
Yep. Yep. Oh,
that is
absolutely.
true.
Well, it reminds me that how they said it from CES. One of the worst inventions was that was the interface on the glasses that you wear when you're driving. They were saying, "Oh, absolutely not," because that's going to just cost too much. So
Mm.
it's happening, and there is gonna there is gonna come a time when we'll be able to do it safely. But that is I'm pretty sure a ways off. But it is kind of nice to see where things are going though. But I really think this is a moment in time here to bookmark. I really think that this is where there's a change. This is where things are starting to speed up and things are
Yep.
starting to happen much faster. More people are jumping into the ring. I mean, I really do think that this is a turning point in technology for us, especially when it comes to XR and things like that. So I don't know. I think it is pretty exciting. I have to agree with that. Now, actually, with regard to some of the things too, because we do want to touch on a couple of other things. Still regarding AVP, talking about some of the things, the good reasons to buy it versus not. There are some other people who've weighed in, and I think that's our next thought on here. There are some things about this that are pretty cool. The first thing I'm going to say that is not so exciting is, again, spatial. They're using spatial games. It's a real buzzword with them, is spatial. And they're talking about
Mhm.
some of the gaming and things that are going to be, involved in this. For example, how many of you guys are Fruit Ninja fans? Are there a bunch of you? If there are, jump up and down. There are.
We got some.
Nice. Well, you will be able with the system. You will be able to slice the fruit with your hands, which is exciting. You don't need your weapon. Now, I will say, as someone who has actually sliced boards with my hand for many years back in the day, there is a special feeling when you get to put your hand through something that is deemed impossible for the human body. However, if a banana's being fired at me and I'm slashing through with it, I'm not quite sure that's worth $3,500. But that's that's okay though.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they are also going to have some really cool solar system planetarium apps. One of the
Mm.
apps I'm really excited about is a Heart X demo, which is they're going to connect 3D anatomy and physiology to different diagnoses for treatment to help people, students, medical students, and people learn how to treat, people that need some help, some patients in the real
Cool.
world. The mindfulness apps, I'm digging that. They're going to have some really
Mm-hmm.
cool ones. They have one called Helium, which is basically like a nature escape type of thing. And then one that I love the name, it's called Lungy, Lungy, and it's to help you
Lungy.
with work on your breathing. I mean, seriously, talk about being on the nose. I thought that was super cute.
Lungy.
So,
Okay.
I mean, so
Lungy.
they are coming out with, there's going to be a bunch of stuff involved in all of that.
That's
So
cool.
with regard to that, there are some reasons that people are seeing to, to go ahead and skip it versus getting it. And I'm kind of curious why, what kind of apps you guys are looking for with that. Now, Johnny, with regard to some of these apps, I mean, can you see, and you've been an EMT and firefighter or volunteer firefighter and all that stuff. So this kind of app where they're going to be teaching people how to do some of this stuff with health, what are you seeing about that? What do you think about that?
I I think it's really exciting, and I hate to go back to what Ark said, but this is kind of what gets me mad, right? Like, this technology is here, and this is life saving application. Why are we waiting until now to do it? But I guess that's neither here nor there, right? The genie's now out of the bottle with Apple. What I envision is everyone's going to have these glasses, right? And it's going to save lives, because guess what? Someone's going to go down, and before they even hit the ground, it's going to notify whoever's in charge of that building, and on their glasses they're going to see like a little pop-up, hey, here's where the nearest AED is. Then when they get to it, they're
Mhm.
going to have
Oh.
instructions on where to put it on the body. Like, this is really a way, this is a new
Oh
way that
wow.
we're going to interact with data in our lives. So I think this is huge, and I can't wait to see more medical stuff and more safety things,
Wow.
because in the heat of the moment you forget. There's been times
Mm-hmm.
where
Oh yeah.
you can train for something, but in the moment you're like, oh shoot, and you just hope you do a good job. If you had something on, or some kind of heads up display telling you, hey, this is how you do it, this is how, what you need to worry about, calm down, I've already notified the authority, like all this technology. Yes, of course, like, it's some people call it dystopian, but I call it the future. Like, this is going to help
Mhm.
everybody. And
It's
is there going to
upgrading
be
us.
privacy concerns? Sure, but there already is. So what's the difference?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I have to agree with that too. And I think having something available like that, I mean, it would be amazing. It's not, it would have been amazing. I would have loved to have had something like that a couple months ago that would tell me if I'm doing something right, or if I'm, need to do this
Mm-hmm.
instead, or, help's been alerted. Because in a crisis, there is a moment. I'm somebody who has always, I've always been touted, and on every review I've always had with jobs, it's always, she's great in a crisis. She's great in a crisis. But I'm not going to lie to you, the crisis, of with my mother a couple months ago wasn't so great. I was absolutely pathetic, and I would have loved to have had something there, to guide me and to help me along. So I'm really hoping that when I see anything about medical and health and everything on these new inventions and these headsets and different things, I'm all for it. I'm all for that happening because
Mm-hmm.
nowadays look at the population in the world and look at how many things are happening, and look at with COVID, for example, we've come through COVID and long COVID. They keep
Oh
discovering new
yeah.
things that are happening as a result. So you know what, we need this kind of stuff, and we need people. There are so many people who can't get to a lot of these classes, to learn how to do things, simple
Mm-hmm.
CPR, things like that. So if this is a way that can
Mm-hmm.
can change this and help people, I'm all for that. I love that. Um, there are some other things too with regard to also the reasons to buy and not to buy. For example, they're saying that in general, what's new about this is it's a new way to compute. Okay, it's a new
Mm-hmm.
item. There's it's very intuitive in terms of the operation of this thing, the control, because there are no controllers. You can literally have your hand on your lap and just move your thumb and forefinger and move things around. They did say though you have to be really careful because Johnny, did you try this? That you have to
Uh,
look at exactly what you want to move, or else you're going to be moving everything else.
they,
What's
it's funny. The first thing they do, like, is they first you put it on, and then it
Mhm.
auto adjusts for your interpupillary distance. So I was like, oh,
Ah.
it's adjusting my
That's cool.
IPD, and the guy's like, yeah, okay, like we don't say that, like it just does it. Like I think they just want it to work. Like they're not bragging. Like when you buy a headset now, they're like,
Put
oh
the word
yeah,
spatial in
it
front of
does
it.
its IPD by yeah. It's like. Oh wow,
Spatial
this is
IPD.
cool. It's got eye motors and it's got eye tracking. It's great. Over there, I didn't hear eye tracking once. I didn't hear IPD once. Like they are coming from a
Wow.
mentality
A
of
different world.
this thing just works.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I'm like,
Hmm.
oh yeah, it's adjusting my IPD. He's like, okay, okay, calm down. But it did that, and then it had me look at all the circles. Like it had circles all in a circle, like a bunch of little ones, kind of like the
Mhm.
Quest Pro, where you look at one, and that's how it trains
Yeah.
itself to look at your eyes. So you look at all of them. And after I did that, it was dead on. Like I can't say anything bad about the eye tracking and the hand tracking. It was
Mhm.
legit. Like it only happened a few times, but I had my hand under the table. And then he's like,
Mhm.
yeah, you have to do that. And you can't use your index finger. You got to use the pointer, and it
Oh.
knows. And the other thing, too, the one hiccup I
Hmm.
had is when I turned my hand the other way and it only saw my thumb and not my index finger. Like if you look at your thumb and you cover it,
Mhm.
like, and if you put your index finger to your thumb, the headset can't see that you are touching, that you are pinching. So
Oh,
you have to kind of do it from the side so it can see. Other than that, it was
Mm.
perfect. And that's funny that you mentioned
Mhm.
occlusion. I mistakenly put a window behind the table and it wouldn't let me grab it until I stood up and grabbed it. So the occlusion is real time, so where you
Mm.
move the window. So
wow.
you could move a window somewhere and then have to get up and move it if you didn't like. So there
Oh,
was a
wow.
Yes.
little bit of kinks, but it was dead on, like dead on hand
Wow.
tracking and eye tracking.
I read a
Well, what?
review about that, that a lady
Hmm.
had used the headsets and set a window somewhere and walked into another room and she lost her window. She had to go back
Oh,
into
wow.
her kitchen and pick up her window and take
Mm-hmm.
it with her. There
Oh my God. She's so-
was great.
I love
Where
that.
did my Word document go? Oh, it's over
Honey,
here.
where'd you go? You getting a Coke? No, I'm just picking up a window. I'll be right there, right there. Oh my God, I absolutely, that's crazy. That's crazy. Bansky, did you have a thought on that? Or did you, I can't tell if you were, oh no, okay. I thought you were jumping. Okay. Um,
Okay,
well, let me ask you too, that Johnny, because some of the things they were saying since you, and
that
again,
is
because
fair.
you've had this experience today. Oh, Sadie, let me get right back to you. One sec. I'm curious about a couple things because they were talking about the nose on this. They were saying, first of all, that it's heavy, really
Mhm.
heavy. That the uncanny valley is just not cool. That the eyes are super creepy. Um, what do you?
Uh,
I mean, is that the deal or?
I was not able to set up my persona in the demo, so I can't
Mm-hmm.
tell you, but I have seen tons of videos on the persona. Basically, everything I've seen and read and experienced with it, it's I think they're going to be working on it. It's a good start, but here's the thing. I think if you don't know anything about VR, you're not impressed and it looks creepy and it's uncanny. But if you have
Mm-hmm.
anything to do with VR, you're like, damn, that looks pretty good. So like it's
Mhm.
different. It's all about perception, and I think somebody
Mm-hmm.
who's never been involved with VR or doesn't understand the avatar, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
situation is like, is that you or is that not? Like, why do you look weird? Like, I don't
Mhm.
understand. Why can't it just be you? Like, some people don't understand it, but I would say as far as uncanny, like, oh, and the comfort, yes, it was that one strap, and I was at the end of it, I was kind of feeling it in my cheekbone and in my eyebrow. But
Mm.
yeah, I wish they had done it with the other strap, with the one
Mm-hmm.
like up there with this gentleman with the top strap. I've been
Mm-hmm.
seeing a lot of reviews that it's comfortable, but I can't speak to it. But I can speak to the one strap looks cool, but yeah, you ain't gonna
Mm-hmm.
spend more than an hour in there, no way. And it was a little
Yeah.
Mhm.
heavy, but that's because of the one strap. With a head strap,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's only slightly heavier than the Quest 3. And it's
Mm.
all about the strap, and I get it.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a strategic decision. The other strap looks cool, but it doesn't work. Like, sorry, if you're in VR
Mm.
for now with at this weight, you're gonna have a top strap of some sort to be in there as long as you want to be.
Well, I was curious
Hmm.
what you thought about with the representation, and you didn't get to set up your profile, but I know some of the I was watching some of
No.
the people working for The Verge who were talking about it, and they were showing it, and they hated
Mhm.
it. They're like, "This is awful," and this, like
Oh
the hair
yeah.
looked like a hat made of hair, and that it just was creepy, and it did not look good at all. And so that's why I was kind of curious what it looked like,
Yeah.
in
I don't
person.
One
know.
of
I don't think I would want to use it. Like I don't think I want like my real face in here. Like I want people to talk to me, like like and not run
oh,
away. So
funny.
I mean, it brings up a good point,
What
right?
are you
Like,
talking
do
about?
I really
I got
want
no
to be in
makeup on
here? Like, do
under here.
I?
Let me tell you, I'm one of those. You don't want to see this.
I had a coworker tell me for his Vision Pro is that it made him for him it made him look like he was on drugs all the time because his eyes were wide
Ah,
open and he was just like kind of cheerful and alert
oh
when actually
wow.
he's a pretty relaxed dude. So yeah,
Hmm.
he said, "Yeah, this is me on drugs. Here you go. More of a
Ooh.
upper drugs." Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Now, Static, did you have something you wanted to add?
Yeah, this comment's real stale now, but it was
That's all
regarding
right.
just leaving your monitor in other rooms, and I'm thinking somebody's like, "Oh man, I
Mhm.
left my screen at Walmart," and they got to get on the bus, go across town,
Oh
go get their screen. They
Oh,
left it at the
I
store
love
across
that.
town. It's just that
Well,
strict.
I have to say, wearing that though, I mean, can you imagine the day comes people are wearing it in public? But listen, let's be honest, who's going to want to wear that out in public? Someone's going to beat the hell
Oh,
out of you to
people
get that thing off
are.
your head.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
four
that's
thousand
People
dollars.
it's
Just like
are.
just take it
it's
away.
like the new
Yeah.
Jordans. Yeah,
Oh
that would
man.
be
Yep.
that would be
Exactly.
intense. Ark, did you have a thought?
So true.
Just a brief comment about the personas. The way they make you look kind of to me seems like a weird mashup between Max Hedron, but also Nagium from
Yes.
season 2 of Star Trek: The Next Generation, that like non-corporeal entity the Enterprise crew came in contact with. If you combine both of those, I mean, if you Google that those characters, like it kind of does. I know it's a bit snarky, but yeah.
No, I
And
see it
also,
though. I see it.
Oh wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
and just
I'm
briefly
with Ark.
also,
It looks like they're in purgatory in there.
yeah.
Hmm.
And also when
Yeah.
today sadly it's
Wow.
Bradley and Eric from QTC they were doing a VR Central their live
Mhm.
stream. Half the time when sadly it's Bradley and Eric were talking using the personas, if anything came in front of their mouth, it looked like they were vaping or smoking or something, and that's apparently just something that
Wow.
happens like consistently. If like, I mean, it's not a
Hmm.
big deal, but it's just kind of funny. It looks like they're vaping half the time.
Interesting. Wow. That is
Interesting.
really intriguing. Okay. Well, no, that's well, I mean, pros and cons, and like they said, everything starts out a certain way. Like, but they're also saying the people that are saying, unless yes, early adopters, but even some of the early adopters have been saying, yeah, let's kind of wait and see when the bugs are worked out a little bit, and kind of see. Listen, if you're not in a hurry for it, it's going to be around, but they're also going to shortchange you on production. They're not not going to be making as many right away, so it'll, you'll have to wait a little bit, but that's okay. I don't see why that would be an issue, but no, I hear you. I like that comment though about the Walmart. Go back to get your screen.
I did
That's
too.
kind of awesome.
That was great.
Because
That was
seriously,
absolutely
if
great.
I forget something at Walmart or at the store, I'm not going to want to go back and get like, oh, I forgot the milk. That's okay. I'll wait till tomorrow. But I'll be running back. Oh my God, I need my screen. I need that right away. Oh my God.
Mm.
It's kind of interesting when you're talking about the measurements and all that too, because we do have an article here regarding some scalpers, which is insane when I found this out. So apparently before the pre-orders opened, these people used some bots to pre-order thousands of the AVPs, and they were putting
Oh,
them on
yeah,
eBay for like $10,000 each before the
yeah,
pre-orders even opened.
yep,
Um, and they're saying that, and I guess with for the facial ID situation, that you have to, in order to purchase one of these, you've got to have a facial thing done in order, and you have to have your Apple
Right.
ID. Like it's like major
yeah,
security for this kind of thing.
yep.
And I'm kind of curious, with the Pro, when you get the Pro, did you have to do anything like that, major security for that too?
Yes. It's funny too because I know they were trying to hide it, but I had never seen the Apple Store so buttoned up. Like they are tracking this. They scanned my face and they said, well, we only have one of those available. They had to scan it a few times. And instead of like waiting for it, they're like, no, no, no. Like they were trying to push people through the door. Like there was, as soon as I got up, somebody took the net. Like, it was just burn and turn. So they're definitely keeping track of it, and they have them available, and they're just very, but apparently I had the most common size, so I couldn't get the one I needed if I wanted to buy it. I mean, yeah, I was kicking the tire, but it was, you know, I mean, I might, you know, one day get one, but it was interesting because they have it all buttoned down, and they just burn and turn, and they're definitely keeping track of who's demoing. And I got an email right away saying, hey, you know, still thinking about the Apple, you know. I'm like, okay. So they're very yeah, but they had to scan my face a few times because they were looking at, you know, I guess trying to put me under another one. And it seemed like the system, like from what I heard, the system wouldn't let them put me with another face light blocker because I had to, like, they couldn't just, it's not just, hey, I'm gonna try this and you walk in and wait in line. Oh no, everything is to the T. They got everybody's name, everybody, like they're organized, and they're really trying to get data on this. So but yeah, I had to do the face scan, my Apple ID, and then that was it. There was no personal experience. It was just
Well, they said that Apple IDs, that they're selling them on the dark web right now, that people who got these can get the Apple IDs from the dark web. And also the fact is that whoever created the bot, they said that, you know, the headsets are going to be made for that person's measurements. So basically anybody that buys one of these $10,000 headsets is going to have to go back and return it to get one that actually worked for them. And because of Apple's policy, they can. Their exchange policy, they're going to be able to do that. So I thought that was kind of
let me demystify the whole facial fit. Like, there's only like maybe like 8 or 12 that I saw options for you to pick, and it's this like little, you see that little cloth piece below the vents? It's that one that comes out. That's all it is. Like, there's no special, it's like kind of like recommended. It's not like the big screen beyond where it's like, yeah, it's a 3D scan of your face. It's more like they scan your face and they give you a close enough. I don't think it's so. I think maybe in about a month or two, you're gonna see Bobo or somebody like making off-market. You know how you can get an iPhone case from any company in the world. It's gonna be the same thing, I believe. So I don't think if you don't get a face scan, you just get another one that fits you, and it'll. But yeah, like they seem very like hot and bothered about about making sure I had one that fit me for some reason. Like, that was the one time I saw them like, oh my gosh, but everything else smooth.
I
I don't think I would
use
want to use
light
one
blocker.
either.
I don't use it on my Quest 3. Yeah, I just have it floating using the Bobo. I would not want to have the facial interface at all. If I could have that as a choice, that'd be cool.
Yeah,
On my
people
Pro,
are
it's
all upset
nice,
about the
but
light leak on things. Personally, I don't care about light leak. Honestly, because I'm so focused on what I'm, on what I'm involved in, that I really don't care. And actually, it's kind of nice to kind of be aware around you. One of the things they're saying too with the AVP, which we can touch on too, is that it doesn't warn you when you're about to walk into a wall. They said that's another thing that Meta does that it doesn't, that you could seriously walk right into a wall, and so I kind of like having that going on there. Do you guys have
I
any
wish I
thoughts
could
on any of
speak to
that?
it. This was a seated experience that I did, but
This is cool though.
I didn't get to move
Well, before
around.
we move on anything else, guys, I'm feeling a little antsy. Johnny, do you have any tunes hanging around? Because I'm feeling like a little dance break time's coming on. You
Oh,
gotta
that
have
sounds
something
like a
good,
great
right?
idea.
Right? Tell me you got something, Johnny. Tell me you got something. Something good.
All
Something
right,
good.
here
Something
we
good.
go.
What do you got? 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 Dance break, everyone! Woo!
All
Get
right.
in here.
Come
Yeah.
on, join us in here. Dance break time.
Ooh, nice.
Come into the center. Woo! Did the music have a low battery song on it? Are you
Oh, no.
messing with me? Johnny, are you messing with me?
That was my Apple Vision Pro. I'm trying to charge it, but it's just not. Yeah, it's not charging.
Oh my god. I was checking my headset. If you check the video, by the way, we're live stream. Check it on Banter.
Yes.
Banter
yes.
TV. Yeah. You'll see me check. You'll see me check. That was mean.
That's really funny.
Adorable.
Oh, all right. Whew.
Okay.
Yes, needed that. Needed that. Oh, mamma mia. Love it. That was awesome. That was
Right.
awesome. Right on, guys.
Thanks
Oh,
for the dance break.
all right. Yeah, I'm gonna need me a drink of water here pretty soon. Whew. Oh, all right. So, since we were talking about Meta and about the Q3 and how it's kind of trying to get involved in what AVP is going on to, want
Mhm.
to go ahead and chat about a few of those things that they've been talking about. So, some of the things that Q3 is working on too with Meta here, they're working on having the spatial photos and videos that you can get from
Mhm.
AVP. They have that. So now Q3 is really
Hmm.
working on getting that going, and it's looking really good. They've got enhanced finger tracking now, which is interesting because they're really moving forward on that. They're making, and the fact also another reason that the Meta is good is it's lighter on the head, obviously. You're looking at like 1.1 pound compared to 1.3, 1.4. And after a while, those numbers don't seem very large, but if you're sitting there for a period of time for hours, it does start
Oh,
to
it can matter.
bother you a bit. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
definitely. And then the other thing that's really good about the Q3, about having the Q3 over the AVP, it's got a better room scanning system. And again, like I said, there is a warning, so you don't walk into into the wall, whereas AVP does not
Yeah,
have
there's a
that, which is a little
boundary
scary.
set up.
Yeah. They've got obviously a ton more games, more fitness apps, larger field of view, and and here's the thing too, it's got the controllers, which is awesome, but the best part
Mhm.
about it is the battery is not, you don't have the connected battery, which is awesome. I mean, there's so many different options for you. So for people who are getting into VR, especially obviously, but even people that have been in VR for a while, I've been reading so much, obviously, and looking for these articles and looking about them and reading about them. And you know what? So many people are saying the same thing. They're actually really a lot of people still in the Q3 sphere. They're voting. They're like, hey, this is
Hmm.
great that this is coming out with Apple, but I'm happy with the Q3 because it does so much more. There's so much more to it. Faye, what are you thinking about that?
Like I said, I'm excited for the future, but just not yet. There's a few
Mm-hmm.
features definitely with the Vision Pro that I want, and I'm gonna be checking those out on Thursday. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay with waiting. I love my Quest 3. I love the capabilities that we have, the power that we have, the comfort that we have, everything. I'm very, very happy. I want the
Mm-hmm.
next thing. I always want the next thing. I'm an early adopter. I'm,
I know
I'm
you
here to
do.
get
I
the
know.
newest thing, but it's too expensive, so not yet.
Yeah.
$1,000?
Yeah.
I would really seriously have a hard time not getting that. But
Hmm.
no, not 4,000. No, no,
Johnny,
no,
did
no.
they have any projection as to when that might be coming out the air?
I didn't see. It was something one of my buddies sent. I didn't get to see the video, but I think Q4 or something like that.
Hmm.
It's
Hmm.
definitely not like next month, but
But this
Right.
just
year.
speaking to what you guys are saying, but I would say like this, like if I think about my Mama Draculus or Papa Draculus, right? Papa Draculus is a lot more technically inclined, so like he has an Android, right? Mama Drac,
Hmm.
she's got an iPhone. She just wants the phone to work, and it's kind of like this. Like I think of like, hey, Ma, you should get a VR headset. Like I don't know that I would get her the quest. Like maybe I get her the quest, but like if she's really
Get
gonna
that.
use it, if she wants to watch, like there's something to think about that too. Like maybe not everybody's ready for something like the Meta Quest 3 or the Quest Pro or Quest
Hmm.
2.
Hmm.
Like they may not be ready to cough up that money, right? But once $1,000 one comes, like, and if that's all they're gonna do, that's great. So it's just different
Hmm.
uses, right? So I
Hmm.
think that's kind of the takeaway here for that too. But yeah, it's definitely something else. So
Well, and again, as they're trying to, get close to the competition is getting tighter and tighter. Do we is the next one about the airplane situation? I'm not sure what I forgot the order that's in, but they are working it
uh
out now to where
farting was last week.
oh God, yeah. Again, disclaimer on that. Oh yeah, and here's a little also a retraction. When we were talking last week about the system that you can feel, you feel the haptic and all that. We thought it was woofer. It's Woodger with a J. I forgot. It's Woodger, and I'm an idiot because I have the belt,
Oh,
right? I just had it packed
okay.
because I hadn't used it, in so long. But it's the Woodger. Yes, really awesome
Sure,
though. So
sure. I
so,
remember that.
so printing a retraction. Just putting that out there. Um, the other thing about the situation with the Q3, they are going to be working on. So you can use Apple, you can use the AVP in the air when you're in the plane or a car ride or
Mhm.
whatever. Apparently, it's their basically their travel thing. And what's happening is now Q3 is working on this because if you've got your Q3 on, and let's say you're in a car or an airplane, and you're it's moving, but you're not moving, and because of that, that messes with the sensors on the Q3. So they're trying to work it out now so that people can work with that. They're working on the spatial video. They're working on getting widgets like AVP has. They're really trying to kind of come up with a lot of this stuff. But one of the major deals is the travel mode, which is awesome. And I'm curious with
Cool.
the audience, would you guys does something like that make a difference to you? I mean, are you going to be in a situation where you're going to be whipping
Hmm.
this out if you're on a car ride somewhere or the plane or something like that? Ark, what are you thinking?
Absolutely. Like um, my brother lives in Minnesota, so when I'm on a plane, that'd be awesome. I've got cousins that live. I live in Columbus, Ohio. I've got family that also lives in
Mhm.
Florida, and if I go with my family on a long car ride, like my nephew and I tried to about 2 years ago tried to put our quests on, when we went to visit our relatives in Florida, and the second we did that,
Mhm.
everything like drove away from us. We didn't realize that exactly what you're talking about. So, just absolutely.
You can get around it if you turn off your Guardian, but there's definitely some jank to it. So if you turn off your Guardian, it sort of works, but there's like seconds in time where it like kind of catches up and your screen disappears for like a split. So that's what I'm hoping they address with this, because I've done it on the plane before and it was kind of janky. It sort of worked. I had to turn off the Guardian. I got a few stares. The lady didn't ask me about the drink, and I was like, "Excuse me, I would like to have a Diet Coke." She's like, "Oh, I thought you were sleeping in that." I'm like, thank
Why
you.
would I be
I'm
sleeping in
not."
that? Do you think that that seems
Ugh.
comfortable? Like, as a
Like
choice?
I could just do like a blindfold. Yeah, I don't need to. But
They should be aware
it,
of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for this. Like, I would love to be like not driving, but like on a
Mhm.
trip somewhere. I do like travel a lot, so this would be
Hmm.
great if they actually had an
Mhm.
airplane mode to do
That would
this.
be
Because,
cool.
like I said, I got
Mhm.
emulators. I could put videos on here. Like
I
Yeah,
always
Mhm.
there's
bring
so
my
much. And
Quest anyways on a trip,
hmm
so might as well use it on an airplane. Be really cool.
Mhm. Mhm.
totally.
Now we do have some other stories that we wanted to get into and share, but I figured it was going to take a little bit longer with the chatting about the AVP and the demo and all that. So we are going to go ahead and table the rest of those because we are coming up to the hour here and the end of the stream. So we are going to go ahead and table those for next week and add those into next week's round. But do you guys have any closing thoughts you wanted to add before we sign on out here?
Hmm. Just
Johnny,
thank
are
you
you
for
frozen?
coming to Virtually Live.
Oh,
Definitely
was it
love
my
having you.
turn? Sorry.
Oh no, I just say you guys because I it's kind of you're kind of like not moving. But I'm glad to hear about what your experience was. That was very enriching today to hear about it, and I can't wait to hear what Faye's got to say the following week. Johnny, I
Yeah,
hope
I'm
you
looking
you
forward to
you
it.
tune into the live stream next week since you can't be here. I don't know if
Yes,
you're gonna be.
I know.
I will try to tune in, and I will, I wish I could just let me wait. When is your appointment? Well, just Discord me. Let me know what you think, because
I will.
Well, she's obviously
it's
gonna
not
do
that I
that.
don't
Yeah, yeah.
respect anyone's like opinion. Like, I respect everyone's opinion, but it hits harder when somebody talks about the Apple Vision Pro and I know they have experience with other headsets, because that speaks to me. Like, yes, if you never had VR, like, okay, great. Like, I love hearing what you think of it, but what does a power user think about it? That's what
Oh,
I'm
I'm
interested in. And
afraid
when
that I will love it.
yeah.
I'm afraid
You
that I
you
will not be
will
able to
sure.
walk
Oh, I
away
know you.
from it.
You will love it. You
I'm a
will love it.
no, 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 no. I said I'm afraid I will not be able to walk away from it.
Mhm.
I'm afraid
Mhm.
that I
I
will
had
not be able
trouble.
to walk out of that
Oh
store
no, you know
without
what?
waving
I
my
wouldn't be surprised.
arms.
No, I wouldn't honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if I would get the text and here's what it would say. The text would be a text saying, "I did something, dot, dot, dot." And I'm going to be like, "Oh my God." And then of course then the phone
No, no, no,
Oh.
no,
call,
no, no.
and here comes the phone call and she's sheepish to even pick it up. I'm like, "You got it, didn't you?" And she'd be like,
No,
"I did."
I'm not.
Oh.
I'm not going to get it. I'm not. But I'm really excited to try it out.
Yeah, no, I can't wait to hear that. Hey, by the way, are any of you guys going to try and get over to an Apple store to give it a go this week? You going to try to get anyone going to try to get some appointments to try it out yourselves? No, not too excited
Nobody.
about getting out there, huh? I know
Not
nobody wants to
this
deal with the
week.
If
crowd
you're
though.
I just dealt with it because of the pod talk, and I wanted to. I mean, I secretly wanted to hear,
Yeah.
like, see it also, but I kind of
Oh
wanted
yeah.
to like give my thoughts on it to people that know who I'm like. I'll just say it. I'm a big VR nerd, like probably one of the largest. So I really wanted to get my eyes on it. I've seen tons of reviews. I would recommend it if you got nothing to do and you're in the mall. Just book an appointment. Just check it out. See what it's about. The process was
Yeah.
good. It's just half an hour out of your day, and I think you will get something out of it. And even if you like kind of just seeing all those people in headsets was just something. It just kind of hit, you know.
Yeah.
It's so
Yeah,
cool.
my people. Yeah. All right.
Mhm.
Well, guys, listen, again, thank you so much for coming, and please come next
Yes,
week and
thank
join us.
you.
We love having you guys here, and we love getting your thoughts and opinions. Have a good rest of your week, guys, and take care, and be safe, and be kind to one another, okay? Help each other out, and see if anyone needs help. Help them out.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Bye. Bye, stream.
Bye.